So now we're going to talk about how to enhance agility with the Power Platform. And as have been said today, when we are talking about Power Platform, we mainly are talking about these features. So Power BI, Power Apps, Power Pages, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, AI Builder, and Dataverse. Most of them are low-code solutions, and we are going to talk in this presentation about the releases on Wave 2 for 2022. So new features that will be released between October or this means last month through March 2023. Okay. Of course, that you may all know all these features. And we are going to start talking about Power BI, about the goals for the wave, and what we have of new features. Talking about for the goals for Power BI in this wave, so we mainly will have an improvement creation experience. So the idea here again is try to empower every individual in the organization to try create this data culture more and more, and to the creation of dashboards doesn't need to be something that it's so much difficult for anyone to do. So that's the idea of Power BI. And on this Wave 2 release plan, Microsoft is trying to align more the experiences with Microsoft Office that are programs that every one of us use every day. So now Power BI is with these experiences of creation in creation dashboards more aligned with Microsoft Office. Also, we have some improvements in the Power Query diagram. So now in Power BI, creators will be able to use a no-code experience to perform some ETL on their data. So that's a very nice go and a very nice feature that we will have for this release plan. Also, we will have some metrics focused on enterprise needs and integration with Viva goals. So, as this Power Platform is growing over the years, now what we are going to have is more and more integrations with the features that we are using every day in our office, like Microsoft Teams, now Viva Goals, and all of this connected more and more with Power BI. And we have some new features in big data experience because now we will have a more easy way to create some automatic aggregations. We will have some DLP policies, how to make some query scale, and also we'll be able to provide and improve visibility into activity to admin. So when you are talking to no code and low code features like Power BI, one problem and one thing that we always are thinking about it's governance. So we will have some new features in governance and administrations in Power BI that the IT administrators will like very much. And of course, when we are talking about Power BI, we need to understand that mainly Power BI, it's like two products because we have the Power BI Pro and the Power BI Premium. And some features will be delivered to Power BI Pro and Power BI Premium. Just talking a little bit about the main difference about them. So Power BI Pro will help the organizations to create this data culture that we are talking about, where every team and individual will be able to collaborate and have some insights in their data. That's Power BI Pro. Power BI Premium will have some more features for the enterprise, mainly thinking about these big data experiences that we are talking just a little before. So in the Premium, what we have that we don't have in Pro, so we will have a more flexible license model. We'll have Microsoft Owner Resource Management, auto-scale and pay-as-you-go pricing, advanced self-service data prep, interactive experience over big data, operational reporting and distribution, and also advanced security. These are some things that we have only on Power BI Premium or with more features in Power BI Premium that we don't have in Power BI Pro. Okay, so when you are talking about what we have new, of course, that for this Power Platform and for Power BI is not different. We have so much being released by Microsoft for this platform. So what we will have here in this presentation will be only the highlights of it, but of course that you can see the whole plan in the Microsoft web page. But let's talk about the highlights on Power BI. So, what are the highlights? What are the main things that we want to show for you? So, Power BI Premium will now have DLP policies or data loss prevention policies, and that is very good. So, what is the business value of it? The idea here is to enable the organization to control and protect their sensitive enterprise data. So in the past, we don't have DLP policies in any way in Power BI, but now the same DLP policies that are applied to Office, Teams, SharePoint can now be applied to Power BI Premium. Okay, and as you can see, uh, this is something that is in public preview and will be just in general availability in the end of the year in December of 2022. That it's what it's being presented for us. So the idea again here is to control and administrate more the data that we have. Um, so imagine, for example, that your company have some sensitive labels, some you need to do some automatic actions, create some alerts to security admins. So Microsoft is very concerned about security, and Power BI Premium will help the administrators, the IT administrators, to govern and administrate Power BI with this new feature that will be just released. Another nice feature that we will have for Power BI Pro now is the SDK to enable quick create. So what we're going to have, imagine that you have a database. On this database, you want to just click on a button and quick create a dashboard. You don't want to create a very large dashboard. You just want a quick create dashboard with the data that you have. Now we have the possibility using the SDK of Power BI Pro to enable this kind of quick create. So as you can see here, developers will be able to embed a quick create report experience in their applications that connect the data to Power BI. And this will be a very nice feature too, because now if you want you have this database and you just want to create a fast dashboard, you'll be able to do it using this SDK. Again, this is in public preview since October of 2022, and you can see this in the trial environments already. Another feature that it's coming for Power BI Pro, it's that now users can subscribe to reports with filters and with slicers applied. Uh, this is Microsoft hearing you, okay? This is Microsoft hearing the community, because that is one idea that the community gave to Microsoft, and Microsoft have heard, and now this idea have been implemented. So what is the main idea here? Imagine that you subscribe to a Power BI report, but this entire dashboard doesn't make that sense for you as it is. So you always need to do some filter. You always need to apply some slicer. Now you don't really need to do that anymore, because you don't need to subscribe to a specific report. You can subscribe to a specific report with filters and with the slicers applied. And when this dashboard comes to your email that you have subscribed, the information will come with filters and slicers applied. Again, this is a very nice feature that the community have gave the idea, Microsoft heard, and the point here is that Microsoft is always hearing you about what you need, what are the needs of the companies, of the enterprises. That's one example about how this is true. This it's in GA already, so in this month this will be in general availability. So that's something that you will be able to enjoy just in the minimum time possible. Okay, though, these are the features for Power BI that we want to highlight, but now let's pass a little bit to Power Apps. So what are the goals of this release plan for Power Apps? So mainly increase trust. The idea here again is to improve security, improve a governable environment, So the IT teams, the IT administrators can be very calm about the security of Power Apps. Another goal is to expand the governance capabilities on the data that we have on Microsoft Dataverse and more. We want, and Microsoft want, that these data developers of all skills can just work with this data and be more productive using Microsoft Dataverse. So we will have new features in this release plan that will allow these developers of all skill levels to work with Microsoft Dataverse and in a unified studio. The third goal for this release plan is to improve and increase collaboration using Microsoft 365 integration. As you know, Power Apps and Microsoft 365 are features that are more and more connected. We will have some features, for example, connected with Microsoft Teams. How can we work with it? And now we have some UX modernization. The apps are more and more integrated, and this is Microsoft delivering for you not just one product, but a whole chain of products that will able you to create this fourth goal, intelligence. Because now the idea is not just to deliver a regular app or just create an app for your company. No, but it is to create a real flagship app. So when we are creating a real flagship app, it means that this app that you're going to build for your company, it's a valuable app. It's an app that has a value for your company. It makes the difference on your company, on your process, on your flow. That's the idea. And remember that Power Apps have this offline capability that it's very nice too. We are going to improve that in this new release plan. So again, for the Power Apps, let's talk about the highlights. Uh, well, so one of the features is the modern advanced find. As you know, the advanced find, it's something that it's on Dynamics for I don't know how long, but it's a long time, since 2011 for sure. And now Microsoft have modernized it, thinking about security and also thinking about modernization. Uh, so the idea here is that the users can easily create filters, create visualizations, and share these visualizations with other users that are using the same app. So how this modern experiences works? Let's see how we can do this. So imagine that you are in the customer service hub app, and now we have this filter icon here. This is the advanced find. The modern advanced find represents you the tables that are inside this app, and you can query it. Select, for example, cases. I'll click on continue, and then let's add a new feature, a new filter here. For example, let's create a filter talking that they created on the cases that are created on, let's say, this month. I want to create this new filter that I don't have on my environment yet. I'll click to apply it. When I do that, see that I have now my filter made, and I can save it. So I'll click to save my filter as a new view for me to get this view whenever I want in my app. So I will name this filter cases this month. I will save it, and then I have this feature ready, and I can use this feature whenever I want. Of course, that I gave this example using the customer service hub, but this is something that is released for Power Apps. So this means that not only for the apps of Dynamics, but for Power Apps in general too, you'll be able to use this feature. Another feature that we're going to have is the Power BI Quick Reports. So the main idea of Power BI Quick Reports is that imagine that you have on your Dataverse a table and you want some simple dashboards on it. And now what we're going to have is a new button to initialize Power BI inside the Dynamics or inside Power Apps. And the Power BI will get all the information that have on that table and create a simple dashboard for us. For you to understand better how it's going to work, let's see again an example. So again, we are on our customer service hub. We are on the cases table. And as you can see now, we have a new button called Visualize this view. We click, and this is Power BI. So as Power BI is loading the data, what we can see is that it's creating for us a very nice dashboard, a simple dashboard. I didn't create this dashboard before. This is something that Power BI already created for me. And I have this metrics that I can work on. I can save it to Power BI to share with my team, to use it later. I can create my measurements. That is a very nice feature that we have. See, as Microsoft is trying to make it easier for managers to see all these metrics in a very easy way. Again, one nice feature that we're going to have for Power Apps, it's about using Teams to chat with others. Of course, that our apps, as we said, are more and more integrated. And as they are more integrated, uh, when we are talking about Microsoft Teams, now we'll be able to connect what we have, a record that we have on Power Apps. We'll be able to use it to connect with Microsoft Teams and to chat about this. For example, chat about an opportunity, collaborate inside a ticket or in a customer app. We'll be able to collaborate inside a work order. Well, the possibilities are very big here. Again, how this is going to work? Let's see as an example. So I am on Microsoft Dynamics here. I will click to connect on the collaborate button, and then as you can see, I can select the channel that I want to connect, or maybe the team that I want to connect, the people that I want to have access to this record. And as I make my selection of a next steps, it's just a wizard here. After I connect to my team, connect to my channel, wherever I want, as you can see now I am on Microsoft Teams, and I can see these records inside Microsoft Teams, and I can collaborate on it. And every chat that I have inside it, every chat will be just we just recorded on this record too. So if I go into the Microsoft Dynamics again, I'll be able to see all the conversation, everything that have been collaborated in Microsoft Teams. So these are some of the highlights for Power Apps. Will be if we start to talk about Power Apps, we can stay here all day. Well, let's move to the next feature, but now talking about Power Pages. So what we have when we are talking about goals for Power Pages 2022 Wave 2 release plan. So we have improvements in the home. So the idea of Power Pages now is that in the past we had Power Portals. Power Portals was a very nice feature that have now been rebranded for Power Pages. Why Microsoft is doing this? Because we want to expand and improve low-code capabilities. So the idea here of Power Pages is to be more and more local, to create a website without that pro development experience. So we have improvements in the home. We have now pre-built templates, and these templates are cross-industry websites. That means that all these templates that we have can be used maybe for your company, but this doesn't mean that you can't rebrand it, redesign the template. No, but we will be able to start from a place that you are not from ground zero. And with these low-code capabilities, maybe for your needs, you will be able to create a website with no code, without pro development. And again, in this release plan, we are improving administration and governance. So these new releases are improving administration and governance. So users will be able to view this website details, consumption reports, and other site information from the Power Platform Admin Center. We have more diagnostic tools such as the Porter Checker, and also integration with SharePoint, Power BI, and a very new feature where when we will be able to restrict access by IP address for a specific website. But of course, maybe when we are developing a website, we have some integrations, we have to connect with APIs. So we also will have some new features for pro developers. So one thing that also the community have said and Microsoft have heard is that uh, when the Visual Studio Code was launched and the Power Platform tools have been launched for Visual Studio Code, uh, so we needed more features there. So some of these features are being implemented, and on this 2022 release plan, we will see more CI/CD support, more application lifecycle management capabilities, and also some extensibility patterns allowing developers to extend websites from complex business for complex business requirements. So let's see the highlights for Power Pages. So now we'll be able to use firewall for websites. So is that what we're saying, right? Imagine that you need for some reason or for some security reason to restrict some IP or more. Imagine that you want to protect your website against attacks, against vulnerabilities. That's what the IT administrations and your IT guy in your company likes to hear, right? About security. So now we have more and more protections in Power Pages, protecting against SQL injections and improving security in general. This is something that is in public preview. You'll be able to see that already in the trial environments. So we recommend you to try and to plan to implement Power Pages in the near future. Another nice feature that it's being released is the basic forms. So of course that we have in the past in Power Portals the basic forms, but now we have improvements for it. So the idea of basic forms is to create a more simplified experiences for adding file upload support to a form, also to create in an easier way more fields using form columns configuration, and also we'll be able to style the form using a no-code user interface. Uh, for you to see how this is going to feel, we have this image, and as you can see, you have, for example, the ability to customize style, to customize the labels, to customize the columns, and this with a no-code solution that we now have in Power Pages, this kind of customization that we don't had in Power Portals. But we are also going to have now the advanced forms. And these advanced forms, different from the basic forms, are multi-step forms. You have, of course, passed for the situation in which you had that form, and it's not just that information that is presented for you that you need to fill. You have to fill the step 1, the step 2, 3, and 4. As you can see in the next slide, this is how the advanced form should feel when we are talking about this new feature in Power Pages. Because now you can configure in a no-code environment inside Power Pages the advanced forms. So as you can see, you'll be able to create the step 1 and then the step 2, the step 3 of the for the user to fill a form, and this will be you'll be able to do with a no-code interface. And here we have this code editing improvements in Visual Studio Code. So the developers, the pro developer, also will be able to download Power Platform tools using the extension for this extension for Visual Studio Code. And now we have an improvement in IntelliSense support. We have additional contextual menu actions, and all these features just being released to Power Page, the scenarios of the developer that is developing a website for Power Pages. So again, Microsoft is worried about the no code to this. Of course, this new code solution will help the users to the regular user to work with Power Pages, but also the pro developer that will need to work in a project. Microsoft is worried about him too, and that's why we have these new releases when you're talking about code editing and pro code development. Let's talk about the next two of Power Platform. That's Power Automate. So Power Automate, it's a very strong tool for automation. And now, as one of the goals of this Wave 2 of 2022 is that automation needs to be more and more for everyone. That means that the automation it's being easier and easier to be done inside companies using Power Automate. So the idea here is to make easier just again the person that don't have any experiences with development needs to be easier for it for him or her to create an automation. Also, we will have some changes in the in the RPA. So the RPA mainly is a desktop flow. And when we are saying desktop flow, is that automation that you have, for example, inside your on-premises server, and in your on-premises server, you have the option to send that information to cloud. So that is RPA. And now we have some new features to it. And so the idea again, the RPA is something that is increasing in the companies more and more. So that's why this Wave 2 is important for them too, because now we have some new features, for example, that are more connected to Azure, where you be able to store more in a way more secure your credentials, for example, using Azure Key Vault. And we are going to talk about that in just a minute. Another goal for Power Automate, more and more, set it and forget it. And when we are talking about set it and forget it, we are trying to create an automations that never go down. This automation needs to be set and needs to work. And this needs to be a more and more reliable platform. Again, this is one of the goals, and we have new features that will make your life easier and will make the IT administrators doesn't need to worry about if this automation are going to work or not, because the idea is it have to work. So that is one of the goals for this Wave 2. And as we are talking about each feature, anyone can get started with Power Automate. This is one of the goals. So if you don't have previous experiences in coding, you'll be able to get started with Power Automate. That's the main idea. When you are talking about Power Automate, it's important for us to understand again what is cloud flows and desktop flows, because we are going to have features for cloud flows and desktop flows. So cloud flows are features that are 100% on cloud and automated, and RPIs or desktop flows are features that are being developed, or it's a tool that you can deploy in your server or in your desktop and send information to cloud based on something that you have built there. So we will have features being launched for cloud flows, and we have features being launched for desktop flows. Again, let's talk about the highlights. So now we'll be able to use AI to help create cloud flows. So imagine that instead you need to add action by action in a Power Automate. Now you'll be able to just say to the Power Automate, please create a flow for me. Then you're going to say please because you're polite. Please create for me a flow that converts, for example, a Word document in a PDF document. And then Power Automate will understand that you have just wrote in natural language and will create the flow for you. This will be in public review in in November of 2022. And that's a very nice feature too, because you don't need to waste your time creating action by action, but you are going to start talking to the Power Automate, or writing to it at least. So Power Automate will try to help you with some actions for you to get started. Another nice information and another nice feature that we have for Power Automate is the new OData editor. So what we previously had in Power Automate is that for someone to get started making some queries on SharePoint, for example, this person needs to know about OData syntax. So some expressions like key that is equal, or GT that is greater than. So the person needs to have some technical details there to really start to use Power Automate. We are improving now this with this new feature, because now very similar to that modern advanced find that we have shown, user will be able to just select the rows to create the filters with and or, and that is it. The query is being made. You will not need to know about OData syntax anymore. That's something that is on GA in October of 2022, and you'll be able to install and maybe update in your environments to have this new feature just right now. Another new feature that we have is that on Power Automate, we will be able to run hosted RPI bots. So you want to run our RPI, but you mainly don't have, for example, a server to it, or you mainly don't have the infrastructure needed to run this RPA. So now you'll be able to host this RPA inside Microsoft Azure. That's very good, because you will be automatically scaled across hosted virtual machines inside Microsoft Azure. This hosted RPA bots will provide this auto escalation, this automatic escalation. This is something that will be in general availability in 2022. For administrators, one thing that we always talk is about Azure Key Vault, because imagine that you have this RPA, and this RPA have some passwords, have some usernames that for some reason are constantly changing. If you use now Azure Key Vault with RPA, these desktop flows, if you need to change some username, some password, we will be able to change this on Azure Key Vault, and this will be just reflected to all your flows, to all your RPA flows. So you not need to reconnect every time that you change a password. So Azure Key Vault and RPA are now strongly tied and together with this new feature. Okay, let's talk about Power Virtual Agents. The main idea in Power Virtual Agents is to create low-code custom bots. So the idea is that creating a chatbot, it's something that takes so much time in development. So Power Virtual Agent come to, again, create an environment where everyone can create a chatbot. And when with natural language and with AI capabilities and with Power Automate integration and with Microsoft Teams integration. So that's why Power Virtual Agents it's that nice, and also Dynamics 365 integration. Well, everything is integrated in Microsoft 365, right? So we have new features on this. These are the goals to improve these low-code capabilities and also to improve these core altering capabilities that are these no-code features that we have inside Power Virtual Agents. So improvements the way about how the bot interact with the agent, with the user. Control how you want this conversation to flow. Improvements on this kind of feature too. Let's talk about the highlights for it. So imagine that in the past, you had to every time go to your Teams chat and ask for your chatbot. So has my budget been approved? And the chatbot will only check and say not yet, but not anymore, because now the chatbot can proactively say something or send a message for the user. So this will be more like event trigger. So imagine that you need this budget every time that this status of the budget has changed. You want to send a message to the user that this budget have been approved. So the user will not need every day in the morning maybe to ask the chatbot if his budget have been approved. Now, Power Virtual Agent is more proactive. And this is one of the most exciting new features in Power Automate. This is something that is in public preview now in October and will be in general availability in March of 2023. So not only us will talking to the Power Virtual Agents, but Power Virtual Agents will start to talk with us proactively too. Talking a little about AI Builder. So the idea and goals for AI Builder is to create more and more intelligence to empower every agent of your company, no matter how skilled he is with development. The idea here is to empower with AI capabilities. Okay, so now we have new features about document classification, detecting signatures, enhanced performance of table extraction. Uh, um, so let's talk about, again, the highlights for AI Builder.
Felipe, I'll interrupt you just a second. I mean, this is when we should be ending the program, right? So we reached the total time that we had. I know we're taking time from you on that, but so what I'm going to ask everybody, if you can provide us 10 more minutes, okay? Felipe is going to finish his session in 2 or 3 minutes, no more than that. And then I'll do the final takeaways, okay? So we're going to be 10 minutes over the allotted time. If you cannot stay, you can look at the recording afterwards, okay? So we're sorry for that, but yeah, it was so much great content and it expanded a little bit and we could not stop it. So go ahead, Felipe. 2 more minutes.
Okay, thank you, Angelo. So about the AI Builder, we will be able to detect signatures that are in a specific location in the document. We have this in general availability in March of 2023 too. Another feature that we're going to have is integration with RPA. So as we have the integration with the cloud flows, now with the desktop flows, we still have this too. When you are talking about Microsoft Dataverse, so we have improvements in Azure Synapse, Azure AD, data modeling. This will be something that it's good too to our Dataverse, to our database environments. Talking a little bit and very fast about the highlights. Now we will be able to restrict the IP. So again, talking about security improvements, we will have the ability to restrict the IP to that Dataverse, to a specific Dataverse. So if you want to just, for example, a user access the Dataverse inside the company, we'll be able to do this, restricting the IP for some reason. Another feature that we're going to have is some improvements in virtual tables. So now we'll be able to connect 2 different environments using virtual tables. Just 2 quick highlights about administration. So now we have the ability to create managed environments that will help developers to manage the environments, limit in these preliminary features, mainly limited sharing, weekly user insights, and increasing data policies. That's something that you'll be able to read more this here on this link, but this is something that's already in GA and you can try it. And also for pro development, as we said, we have Visual Studio Code more and more integrated with Power Platform, and we have more and more features, not only for Power Pages, as we said, but we will also have for the entire Power Platform, for example, when developing Power Apps and in the Power FX. Okay, thank you.